Why are some people of today so much obsessed with fake titles that have no real value? It's quite astonishing how some people place their educational qualifications and themselves to be far ahead or superior to others. Look at the case of Antonio Julio Sanchez, a prominent professor at the University of Magna Scientia. He found himself at the center of mockery and ridicule when one of his friends and colleagues at the workplace constantly teased him. He kept saying, "I am a PhD, professor of psychology to be precise." This is after what happened outside the school's theater building a few weeks ago. Things turned from sweet to sour for Mr. Antonio one afternoon, when a kid who was skateboarding on the pavement suddenly slid and rolled down the stairs, brushed his head across a metallic object, which cut across the flesh of his head, sparing his skull narrowingly. The passers-by expected him to do something, but unfortunately he never dared. He just stood there and watched the little boy bleed. "How are you not able to save an injured child when you call yourself a PhD?" his friends asked him. "It looks like his academic qualifications are of no use here," they said to one another, and went ahead to bandage the bleeding child. He argues that since the accident did not fall into his professional field, he was exempt from carrying out such a duty. "I am not a medical doctor," he said firmly. "But you are a PhD of psychology. Doesn't that have something to do with the head? The kid has been struck unconscious and is bleeding badly. If we don't do something quick to stop the bleeding, he might never reach the hospital," they responded. "He can't do first aid." So ironic. Someone brags about having the knowledge of theoretical universe when the simplest and most important things in life that even elementary school children can beat them in, even a Boy Scout or Girl Guide in 3rd grade knows how to perform a first aid. How come a man who professes himself to hold a doctorate degree is unable to perform a simple health emergency task to save a young life? It's so hypocritical. Many of the so-called title holders are nothing but hypocrites who are much worse without their prestigious titles. Here is how people around constantly put you to the test because of your title. They demand to witness and hear great things from you. They will show you the great respect you deserve in exchange for a good deed or a piece of advice. You are a professor for nothing, not unless you do something for someone in need of your great knowledge. They invite the so-called experts to give a say on your project. It's certainly not because those guys are really experts, but rather because they are trying to prove to you that their services are highly credible. I gave myself a fake title. I called myself doctor, so that people would treat me with respect. Yet I have never used a syringe, nor ever hanged a stethoscope on my neck. I gave myself 100 fake titles to boost my self-esteem. I have 1,000 nicknames, some of which I rarely use. It depends which one you use to refer to me. If you have assigned yourself a very prestigious name, a name that no other mortal holds, you find yourself fighting very fiercely to defend it. If not careful enough, you might end up causing harm to others in an attempt to shield it from all attempts by your foes to taint it. It is of no use fighting for status in our modern-day society. It's obvious how humans go about fighting for status. Why spend vast amounts of resources trying to change other people's perceptions? And when those resources dry out, those thoughts and beliefs that have been baked into them quickly vanish away and remain worse than they have been before. You can't change the way other people think about you. People's perceptions change so often, like the clouds in the skies or tides in the sea. You spend years building your name and identity, then some locusts somehow appear from the middle of nowhere and mess up your face. It would have been better if I never had any name in the first place. I would rather work hard to live a life I would be happy for and never regret than to live trying to change the way other people think about me. I like people who underrate me. Isn't it better for people to underrate you first, then discover your true value sometime later, than for them to hold you lofty for the moment, only to toss you aside later when they discover you weren't that much of an importance to their personal or professional needs? He wasn't a necessity after all.